Dovale. I'm CEO of Life Masters. I'm excited to be on Gold this morning, and hopefully we can share some wisdom that you can use as inspiration to transform how you think, feel and act and show up in the world. So I'm really excited to be here and grateful to have you guys in my home. Thank you. Hi, my name is Tony Dovale. I'm CEO and founder of Life Masters, and today I'm on Gold. I'm really grateful to be here, that I can share wisdom, knowledge and information, and maybe you can gain something that you can use to transform how you show up in the world. So it's with great gratitude that I'm able to be with you guys today. Thank you. So as you can see, I'm a little older. I've done quite a lot of mileage. I'm the eldest of three in the family. I was 8 years older than my youngest next brother. We lived in a small house in Blairgowrie and then originally in Parkhurst. So my folks, they did the best they could with what they had. They weren't wealthy at all. They struggled to make sure we had at least food and clothing and shelter and basic public education. But it was a tough upbringing. I had a tough dad. Both parents worked. So we came out of a family that didn't have a huge amount of love. There was a lot of kind of head space and a lot of anger and throwing of spanners and stuff like that. But my folks both worked hard to make sure that we had the basics and the fundamentals. As you can see, I'm sitting here now. I'm big enough and strong enough, so obviously my background was good enough to get me to get here. It was tough. If I had a way to have it a little differently, I would choose a little differently in some of the areas. But I think the environment creates the strength, and that's what I think a lot of our millennials need today is a lot more mental strength than they've been given for the way they've been brought up. But I've been blessed. So growing up, I was part of Boy Scouts. My father was a Scout master, but I really didn't have any clear idea of what I was going to be, do or have. I did watch what was happening around me, and I realized I don't want to be in a job, just over broke job, which that's not necessarily true today. I see some people earn crazy salaries, but I wanted freedom. My number one value is freedom. So at a very, very young age, I became an entrepreneur. At the age of probably 13 or 14, I was building kites, making kites and flying them and selling them while I was flying them. I used to put motors on bikes. We used to take playing cards with pegs and make motors on bicycles. As the spokes hit the cards, you had this motor sound. And I used to sell juice on the side of the road. So from a very young age, I had this entrepreneurial flair. I did try and get into a job, doing computer programming and getting into that world. But I struggled with the constraints and being told what I have to do. And so I ended up being an entrepreneur. I can't remember a huge push or guidance from my folks to be anything specific other than get educated and learn, because their constraints to where they were in their life was limited by their education. They didn't have a huge education. So I think for me, the Boy Scouts was a great foundation to learn the fundamentals of integrity, self-sufficiency, creativity and innovation and engineering and finding a way. But most of my space I kind of was oriented towards sales and selling, which has kind of been the theme throughout my life, is being a sales guy. So a problem solver, helping people solve problems in their life and their business. I think we grow up with a theory of what life's meant to be and should be and could be and would be. At a young age, I was overseas on a skiing holiday and I saw some people paragliding. And I thought, wow, I want to do this. And I have a very simple philosophy: do it now. All we have is now. So I came back to Johannesburg. I found a place to go and learn to do paragliding, and I learned to fly. And probably on about my 60th or 70th flight, we were flying in the Drakensberg at 640 meters above the ground, above the farmlands. And I was a little bit overconfident and didn't prepare completely. And as I flew off the mountain, my harness hooked me in a very painful spot. And so I lost control of let go of the control of my paraglider, and I fell 50 meters into the mountainside. I bounced off the rocks, smashed legs, heels, ribs off my chest, hematomas. And then I still flew for about 20 minutes as my paraglider automatically reinflated. And I was in bed for 3 months after that. And I think that kind of woke me up that I can die, because I'd lived as if I was invincible before that. I didn't have this concept that I could actually die. And so I had to give back my guarantee to God that I could die. And so it became I have now. I have this moment. Be grateful for this moment. Use this moment. Live in this moment. I can't change yesterday. I can't change tomorrow. I can influence tomorrow. But only space I have any real value, presence and power is right now. And that's become the foundation of how I show up in the world. So at the moment, I'm running my company Life Masters, which I started in 1994, along the lines of Toastmasters. So people go to Toastmasters to learn to speak and present and build confidence. And I love the model, and I created a platform, and the goal is to create a place where people can come to live and learn to have a better quality of life. So we do personal transformation workshops, Phoenix, Dragon Slayers and Alchemist, but we also do corporate people and team building and leadership development, organizational development workshops. So I have a recipe that's taken me 40 years and over 15 million rand in time and money to develop. That's a proven process in how to build high performance, happy, healthy teams. And we then facilitate that out into corporates in South Africa at this moment in time. We have been around the world and done it for some other companies. But we go into hot kitchens where there's conflict and unhappiness, whether it's political, racial, social, and we rebuild the fabric of trust, care, and connection, and we turn hate into love. So I'm blessed to be able to each day wake up knowing that we're going to bring more light into the world. So some of the core challenges relating to unhappiness is the problem with education is people are not given the right tools to manage how they think, feel, and act. They're taught what to learn, reading, writing, and arithmetic, but no one's ever taught about emotional intelligence, self-management, self-awareness, resilience, adaptability. So people are living a reactive life. They're basing their happiness on other people. They say, you make me angry, versus I'm making myself angry at what you're doing or not doing that I'm expecting. So very few people are awake enough. People think they're awake because they're awake, but I'm talking consciously self-aware, self-managed, awake, that they're conscious of their internal voicing, that they've changed their internal voice to something positive. And so the unhappiness is a self-induced state of looking at what other people have and saying, I don't have that, I want more, versus being grateful. And you know, we live in the top 15% of quality of life on the planet. If you've got food, clothing, shelter, internet, cell phone, a roof over your head, hot and cold water, we are so blessed. And so people are always looking at what they don't have, when as if they looked at what they do have and came from that gratitude, because your biggest nightmare, wherever you are, is probably 70% of the world's hope and dream. So if you come from a point of gratitude and paying it forward, you can choose to focus on now and be grateful and happy now. People think that we are happy because of what we get or what we've got. It doesn't work like that. Be happy. Have the mindset of a millionaire, of somebody wealthy and successful, and you will attract those things in your life. So I think the missing piece is mindset. We're not taught how to have a growth optimized mindset. We learn stuff. The problem is the stuff we learn at school or university is so out of date within 2 to 3 years, because things are changing so fast. But the right mindset, a resilient, positive self-talk, a bulletproof internal state is what is needed. Happiness is a choice. Just not many people make that choice. So as a lifeline counselor and a hospice counselor and a coach and a transformer, I come across a wide range of people, whether they're considering committing suicide, or they're under pressure, stress, and duress. Times are tough. People think just because you've got money, times aren't tough. There are people that have got lots of money that commit suicide. So the challenge that I really see in the world, it starts with self-belief. There are people who have come from nothing. They've lived in tough times, tough circumstances. In some of the team buildings we've done, people have had to fight dogs in the dustbins to get food whilst they were studying to become lawyers for the public protector. So I think the real challenge starts with a self-belief and a drive that no matter what is around me, I will find a way. One of my last philosophies is there is always a way. And so that commitment to no matter what it takes, I will do whatever it takes to climb up and find a way. So I think what people don't understand is we are pieces of God, okay? Spirit, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. We are a piece in that image with that power. We've come down to this three-dimensional physical space to learn, to dance, to grow. For me, my frame of reference, this life is gym for your soul. So whatever's happening isn't happening to you or being done to you. It had been done for you to grow. Not easy to own. I struggle with that myself at times. But understand that everything that is happening is for you to grow, for you to build muscles. Guys pay lots of money to go to gym to get these big muscles, and they pick up heavy weights. They struggle with these weights to build their physical muscles. Life gives us those weights to build our mental and our emotional muscles. But because we don't see them as beneficial or valuable, we say it's not fair, look what's happening, it's not right. Poor me. And the poor me is part of it. It's that self-talk that takes us down. I know when I was a youngster, when I started playing hockey for South Africa and Western Province and junior board, my voice was my dad's voice. You're stupid, you're useless, you'll never be good enough. And so no matter what happened, I had this nagging, negative, unhealthy voice inside my head until I made the decision and I committed to only allow a positive voice in my head, no matter what happens. And it takes a while to reprogram, but you have to be conscious, you have to be awake, you have to make choice. You have to take that decision and embed that action into your life every day, every moment. So stuff happens. Our natural reaction, because the brain is programmed 3 times negative, is to aim for the negative stuff. Why me? Poor me? Always me. But if you become conscious and get away from being reactive to response able or response agile, now you can say, oops, okay, something not nice happened. How do I use this? How do I take control? How do I build, climb, thrive, and flourish? And that's what I think is missing with our millennials is they haven't been given the foundation of resilience, this positive, enabling, uplifting self-talk. There are some people, no matter what the conditions, they will fight and dance in the storm. There are others, no matter how slight the rain, they will run and hide and shelter. I think the problem is parents haven't brought their kids up right. They've given them fixed mindsets versus growth-optimized mindsets. And this is a biological computer. We have thought viruses running it. Until you use somebody like me to release and remove the virus and rewire and reprogram, you'll be a victim of the stuff that's running this biological computer. Know this, you have the power. If you choose, if you wake up, you have the power to turn the switch from negative to positive. We all have, the story of the 2 wolves. This young Indian brave comes to the medicine man and he says, medicine man, you got to help me. I've got this snarling, ugly, smelly, stinky wolf on this shoulder, this dark, evil energy. And I've got this kind, loving, amazing wolf on this shoulder, and they fight the whole time. He says, I have to know which one's going to win because they're affecting me. And the wise man said, the one that you feed the most. We all have this drive from both sides. Which one do you feed? Are you conscious enough that you can feed the kind, courageous, caring, considerate, compassionate wolf and energy? You have that power. You are a piece of God's soul spirit. You have the full power. It's time to start that engine. There's a joke about an Indian in America, in Texas. He's living in his teepee, and every Sunday they see him on his white horse going into town, and he buys his groceries and he comes back home. And one day they find oil on his farm. And next thing, he's super wealthy. He's got this huge house and cars and a V12 Ferrari Testarossa, 2,000 horsepower. And then they see him going into town one Sunday. And there he is. Everyone's staring at him because there he is on his white horse, pulling the Ferrari behind him. And you're probably laughing at how silly that is. But you're the same, because you have this multi-million horsepower heart and head and soul and energy. But you're still running a 1 horsepower thinking process. Turn the key, turn on your power, your potential. You have the potential. It's time to start using it. And that's the value and the power of a leader and a coach. Is we don't buy into your limited stories. You have his story about your past, like mine about my dad was tough and he was rough on me and whinge. You can actually, and we have a program and a process called proactive memory rewrite. We can timeline you into your past, change the memory to something positive and supportive, and then rewire it coming forwards, that it's an uplifting and positive and supportive frame of reference rather than a poor me story. Because your story, his story, controls the kind of story you can write going forward. And I believe you have the power to write amazing stories. So the truth of life is we will always be tested. Remember, things have been done for you to grow, not to you. If you start with that frame, that we call it a reframe, you change the frame of situations. Most people are living in reactive behavior. Something happens, they get angry. Something happens, they get sad. Something happens, they say, why me, poor me. Because neurons that fire together wire together. Thinking is a habitual process. You have to create an intervention where you stop and intentionally rewire your thinking, which is what I've started to be able to do in my life, but it does take a while to change habits. And I'll give you an example. I make my own kombucha. It's a health drink, and I was busy decanting it into a bowl, and I dropped a whole 5 liters of sugary tea all over my floor. Another person might have got really irritated and angry with the situation. Another person might have got irritated and angry with the situation. You're going to hear the sounds of my dog. She's happy with being here today. So most people reactively, because of the mess on the floor, would get angry. I just laughed. But I have programmed myself to reduce my reference of how bad stuff is. People can take little things and make them big. Other people that are more powerful mentally and emotionally take big things and make them small. We all have the power if we wake up and use it. But the problem is, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's time to start to use your power. Sure. So success is a very elusive deal. The problem is people are programmed that to be successful you have to have stuff. Houses, boats, planes, trains, gold rings, whatever it is. When I was 21, I used to sell Ferraris and Lamborghinis to wealthy people. In those days, a new Porsche or Ferrari was 66,000 Rand. And so many people that came in were successful, they were wealthy. So they had lots of money. And in the beginning, I was impressed with this because, a guy can walk in and write a check for 70,000 Rand for a car. And being a 20-year-old and wanting to be successful, I thought, wow. But the blessing that I got from these people is, whilst they might have had money, there were other areas of their life that they lacked. Some of them didn't have health. Some of them didn't have love. And I learned very, very quickly, means goals like money and stuff isn't what life is about. Means are the tools. Do you want the new BMW or Bentley? Why do you want it? Do you want a piece of metal? So I went out. I saved my money. I bought myself a 450, a 280 SL. I painted it petrol blue because I wanted the convertible Mercedes to be like the people I was selling to. And within probably 8 to 12 weeks, it was just another car. I was to sit at the robots there looking to see who's looking at me, because I now thought I was successful. It was just a piece of metal that cost me more to maintain, service and insure. And within a short time, it was just another car. And what I discovered is it's not the means goals that drives us. It's really the ends goal. What do you want to feel? What do you want to get by owning the Bentley? It's going to be a feeling loved, feeling appreciated, feeling important, feeling respected. Everything we do is about a feeling. And so I know people with lots of money who do not feel successful. I know people with lots of money but don't have any health. And that's hell. So for me, I have the 3 pillars is health, wealth, and love. I know people have got lots of money and healthy, but no love. It's cold. Money's a cold lover. So just because you have money doesn't make you any better. I know people with lots of money that are evil. So the question is, does money make you successful? You can be successful in the little things in life and bring more value and love and consciousness to humanity than some greedy politician that's stealing millions and billions and trillions from us. So because somebody's got a Porsche and a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce and all of these fancy watches, are they successful? I don't think so. I know people who have very little but bring amazing value to the world. I think they're successful. I have a friend who just died Saturday morning, I've known for nearly 40 years. Kind, caring, considerate, pay it forward, never a bad word against anybody, had money, lost money, had health, lost health, still has love in his life and still had love in his life until the moment that he died. He was successful. We often mistake and think that money will make us happy. It's not. For a period of time we might feel happy, but it's like a drug that we need more and more and more. And the biggest mistake that I see now in our country is people think that to be somebody you must have lots of money. For me that's just greedership, or even bleedership like some of our leaders are doing. You do need money, know this. Money is oxygen. When you're underwater, 10 meters or 5 meters under the water and you need to breathe because you can't breathe, nothing else matters other than oxygen. Money is exactly the same. I didn't wake up this morning concerned about breathing. But if I had no breath when I woke up, I would have been concerned. And it's the same with money. When you have enough to cover the fundamentals, what I call keep the wolf from the door, that's the start of being able to just look at building a happier life. Nothing worse than having no money, no food, no resources, nothing. That's that no oxygen situation. And unfortunately, our country, we see the youth, we see many people are falling into that situation because they're waiting for the government to make it okay and make it right. I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody. The government is not for you. They're not coming to save you. And if you're wanting to become dependent on them, you have a huge problem. You'll always be a victim. You'll always be controllable. You need to be the one that steps into your own power, makes your own decisions, takes your own actions, and adds value to the world. Money is just a store of value. I've got something of value, you've got something of value. You do some work for me, give me some value. I've stored my value that I've created doing my team building. I store it in money and I exchange it. Money is just a store of value. It represents and reflects the amount of value you bring to people around you, to the world, to your country, to your market and industry, and to life. Money matters. But having money may not matter when you don't have health, when you don't have love. As we get older, money can't buy. People in multi-level marketing, we talk about people use their health to build their wealth. Then they try and use their wealth to try and get their health back. It's too late. It's too late sometimes. It's not the means goal, the money, the house, the car, the boat, the jewelry. It's the end goal. It's how do you feel when you look in that mirror? Do you feel a good sense of self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence? What people don't understand is those that steal, there's a part of them, that God part of them that knows. And it's a little voice that says, you're not great, you're not good, you're not amazing. And eventually it will eat them. There are people, my dad, his number one value was integrity. Even as he was a buyer for millions and millions of rands, he would only allow his suppliers to buy him one bottle of whiskey, and that was at Christmas. He had bulletproof integrity. He used to say, people are they want to give us a caravan or a holiday overseas. And as a kid, I'd say like, wow, that's lekker, that's nice. I didn't understand that situation. Success is when you can look yourself in the eyes, know that you have integrity, know that you're trustworthy, and know that you bring positive light and value to the world. To know that every day when you wake up, you're looking to bring the best possible impact that you can. I study near-death experiences and spiritual stuff, and there's a common theme that goes through people when they die, and they go down their tunnel of light and they find Jesus or Buddha or Allah, whoever the highest source is. You get stopped at the gates of whatever the situation is there, and you get asked 3 questions. 1, how much love did you bring while you were on the planet? Number 2, how much wisdom did you gain and learn and grow? Number 3, are you ready to receive back what you perpetrated on others, that you may wake up and understand the impact that you've had on other people's lives? I think you can be successful with limited money. If you don't have oxygen, nothing else matters. You die. We do need some value exchange for food, clothing, shelter, the fundamentals. But there comes a line, and from our Science of Happiness research, there comes a line where more money doesn't make more happiness. Put another 2 noughts on many people's bank accounts, they're not going to be 2 times or 10 times or 100 times happier. There is that line. Strive for that line, but don't only use material goods as your measurement. Measure the impact that you're having on people's lives. Do you bring love? Do you bring peace? Do you bring joy? Do you bring forgiveness? Do you bring gratitude? Do you bring compassion? Do you bring caring? It's the means goals and the ends goals. I decided to short circuit. Why waste time and money going for the means goals? Just go straight for the ends goals. Just become conscious enough and do self-development that you can manifest that feeling inside yourself without having to go and buy the stuff. That's being a wizard.
Amazing.
So we live in amazing times and crazy times at the same time. What I'm excited about with all that's going on is that more and more people are waking up. We're discovering that we have the power, we have the self-responsibility and accountability to create the kind of world that we're wanting to create. We are shining light on all the darkness, all the pedophilia and rape and murders and hijacks and all the negative stuff that's been around but hidden is now coming to light. We are dividing this divide between good and bad and right and wrong and evil and good. and love and hate is being amplified, that we can now see it clearly. And what I'm excited about is that more and more people are waking up every day and discovering the reality beyond the propaganda, beyond the stories they've been told. And they're standing together, they're uniting to bring love and peace and joy and compassion against any kind of control and tyranny and whatever's happening around us with leadership and greedership and the corruption that's happening. We're starting to go beyond race, beyond politics, to unite together to make sure that the future we are building is one we want to have, and it's our future that we'd like to have versus a future that's been sold to us by people in power. And I saw a guy, one of our local guys, saying, people think politicians are leaders, and so they look to politicians for leadership. It's not necessarily true. There are many people high up in power that have powerful positions that can be taking and doing whatever they do, but they're not necessarily good leaders. And Google's research shows us 9 out of 10 managers and leaders are not good leaders. I'm excited that we're getting people that are waking up and standing up and becoming the leaders that we so desperately need. And you need to be one of those people that maybe stands up today. As much as there's good, there's always evil. There's high and low, there's fast and slow. Governments are trying to control the people. Leaders are doing things they should not do. Stuff is being hidden. We've gone through the biggest propaganda experience we've ever had in our lives with COVID. All the lies that have been told about the jabs and what's happening are now starting to be revealed for what they truly are. The challenge is the negativity and the evil and the dark forces are starting to amplify because they've been found out. Men are doing ugly things. We're discovering things, the level of rape, savage men with no integrity, no care, no compassion. I look at our country. We have a culture where we have probably a rape every 5 or 10 seconds. We have a murder. We have 67 or 70 murders a day. More people die in our country than in the Bosnian-Ukrainian war. And we're okay about it. We don't have a police force or a military force that protects people. We have a service. We have politicians who are in service of themselves and not the people. And there's a saying that says, for bad to win, good must just do nothing. It's time for good to stand up and unite, to stand together and make a loud call and make it very certain that we will not stand for our women being abused, our children being abused, our finances being abused. We together have to use technology and come across races, politics, ages, whatever it is. We have to stand together and build a foundation and build a viable, bigger, bolder, better, brighter future. Because if we don't stand together, what's it? United we stand, divided we fall. We have to come together. We have to stand up and say no more. When we hear the people talking about, bragging about stuff, we have to stand up and be real men. I'm part of a men's group called Mankind Project. We do healing work for men. And there we stand and we hold men accountable to the highest level and quality of life and behavior. We need to be able to create guidelines and role models for the youth to see this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a good citizen, and perpetuate that throughout our organization. So I've never been married. I don't have children. You are my children. Everything that I'm sharing is what I would want to share with my own children. The youth and the kids and the new generation coming through today are blessed in so many ways. One, they are more conscious and spiritually aware. They are driven by meaning and not just pure raw greed. They see that the path we're on of just consume, 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 and withdraw and take without looking after earth is not a smart strategy. They have the advantage of being techno-savvy because it is with technology that we will get the message out. We'll create the visibility and the alignment for people to say, stop. Because that message to overcome the propaganda is so important. The youth today are probably close to half of the workforce, have the power to influence how businesses show up, the kind of stuff that they do to the environment, in their marketing. For me, the powerful thing with the youth is they're coming from more heart. They do need to build stronger mental statuses. They do need to stand up and be confident and say, this is our dream. This is our future. Let's build a better one together. We have to unite against crazy philosophies, policies, and processes. We have to unite together. I'm part of Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, and I have 4 youngsters that I'm coaching. And at the age of 19 and 20, I'm astounded at the kind of projects and the dreams that they have. But we're accelerating that. We're coaching them to be way more successful, way more proactive in that process. And that's what I really believe. My purpose and passion is to create peer coaching. If every one of you can become a peer coach to 2 or 3 other people, as part of the Life Masters process and my International Coaching and Mentoring Institute, we have content. We would love to create a revolution in youth, that we become coaches to each other, and everybody has a coach that unleashes your potential. But you have the potential. It needs to be people first, people. Then the planet. Without a planet, life rafts don't have life rafts. Where are you going to go, to Mars? And then profit, and then business, and then the means and the mechanism for people to generate, enjoy, and experience value. You have everything as a foundation. It's time to take that dream and put it into action, to work together, to use the technology, and to make your voices heard. So I'm blessed to be able to have space and intent and resources to turn my passion and my hobbies and my intentions into a business that becomes sustainable. Everything needs to be sustainable. You can't just put money into a hole. It's got to come from somewhere. Value has to come from somewhere. Coaching for me is the future, which is why with my partner, Dr. Emmanuel Emebo, we have the International Coaching and Mentoring Institute and Youth Life Shift. We have a foundation that we're working with to bring the youth programs, to give people a platform and a foundation. And that's starting in South Africa, but it's going to be throughout the whole of Africa. So it's get a coach, learn to coach, become a coach. And that's the cycle of pay it forward. You get a coach, bring out and unleash your potential. Along the way, you learn to be a coach, and then you actually become a coach and share and support and engage and encourage others. So that's one part of our project. The other part is the Life Masters work, where we go into organizations under the guise of team building or leadership development. We do diagnostics, we discover the dynamics in the situation, and then we design an intervention and a team building experience that reduces conflict, if not removes conflict, rebuilds trust and relationships and connection, realigns people together so that it's a we together versus a me, and creates sustainable organizations that start to add long-term value internally to the staff and the people inside and all of the stakeholders. Now, we've had companies go from 200 million revenue to 800 million revenue because of the weekend workshops we've done with them. And because of that additional value, they're able to then share that down into their staff, give them increases, give them bonuses, But every business needs to be successful. Every business needs oxygen, because for me, business has a dual function. One is be successful and sustainable, and two, create a place where people can learn to live and grow and thrive and flourish. And so for me, my mission as a light worker and a light bringer is to be raising humanity's consciousness. And that's what we do with our revolutionary workplace. We optimize people, teams, leadership, and culture to thrive with adaptability in these tough times. We need to wake up. We need to align for higher consciousness thinking. We need to bring more love and peace and joy to humanity. As part of my Mankind's workshop, in my training overseas, you go and do a visioning process and you come back with your soul's mission. Here is mine. As a man amongst men, I co-create a world of more integrity, freedom, love, abundance, meaning, peace, and joy. Because that's what I think is missing in the world. And I do and achieve that by providing coaching, training, talks, workshop, and support for those who are ready to bring that to humanity.
Thank you.
So the biggest room in the world for me is room for improvement, which means leaders are readers. The books I would suggest is one, Swift Success, because it's my book, and I've taken my life's wisdom and stored it and distilled it down into a single book that you can use to accelerate your learning and growth and wisdom. And the second book, if anything else, would be Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant. Any Tony Robbins books for me have been a foundation and a fountain of wisdom and knowledge and tools that I can bring out the very best version of me. For the movies, for me, profound movies that I've had in my life have been Pay It Forward, The Fight Club, and the movie Instinct with Cooper Jr. Brown and Donald Sutherland have been profound, life-changing movies for me. And then music, being a DJ for the last 40-something years and loving music. Music is my drug. The music that stands out for me is George Benson, The Greatest Love of All, because at the end of the day, to love and be loved is our core human need. And then I love that Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Shake it, shake it, shake it off. People are always going to come and attack you, demean you, undermine you. Shake it off. Somebody's going to tell you they don't like what you're doing. Shake it off. Sync with your heart, sync with your soul. Make sure that you're bringing love and light and peace and joy. And whatever happens to come, whether it's a storm and the rain, shake it off. If people throw stuff at you, shake it off. Be unstoppable. I have a very simple philosophy. Do not enter a race to come second. There is always a way. And pay it forward. These are just philosophies that I've decided to program and wire into myself. We are biological computers with the potential to be anybody and do anything if you so choose and desire. You have that power, but you have to make that decision. You have to grow. You have to develop. You have to put the right positive stuff in. Right from an early age, when I was doing my computer programming, I started reading Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics, and Leslie M. Lecron, Self-Hypnosis. Hypnosis has powerful value. Ignore all of the rubbish that people talk about and say it's evil. Hypnotherapy is one of the most powerful therapeutics today with NLP and timeline therapy and our EFT healing technologies. Today, the tools are there to unhook your baggage, which a lot of people are still carrying, and prepare yourself to thrive and flourish and be a high-performance kind of like a Formula One racing car that you can unleash that fullest potential. I have songs that excite me when I'm going on stage. I have songs that get me to think and become more aware and patient and compassionate and kind. Music moves us. Vibration moves us. But I do know this one thing. If you're not putting stuff in, you're going backwards. I have my phone, I have a pad, I have my desktop, I have my laptop. Even if I go to the loo and I'm there for 5 minutes, I'm on my pad learning something. When I go to bed at night, I'm doing a meditation when I'm going to bed. When I wake up in the morning, I'm doing a meditation. I'm putting good stuff in the whole time. So many people watch TV. You know when you're watching TV, most of you guys like to watch TV. You know what TV stands for? Time vampire. Have you ever made millions watching TV? You're not going to either. This show could be the difference maker for you. But every moment that you have, build, grow, improve, optimize, sharpen. You have to be the one that steps into that choice. You have to be that one that when you're thinking, I don't really have the energy, that you push, you get up and you do. This time vampire is going to steal your life away. And eventually when you wake up, you can be 50 and 60 and not have enough. All the research shows, all the insurance research shows, by the time people are at 65, only 3% are financially viable. What's the oldest person you know alive today? In my team building and leadership workshops, I always ask the question, what's the oldest person you know that is alive today? Without question, every workshop, 95 plus. How are you going to fund from 65 to 95? Think about it. The tsunami is coming. Having gold and jewelry and the admiration or respect of these people on the outside of you will have no value when you're 70. You have got no food, you've got no clothing, and you've got no shelter. You see me, I got a second-hand digital watch to not be naked. But I don't wear jewelry. Because here's what I discovered. The more they have on the outside, the less they have on the inside. I don't care what you think of me on the outside. On the inside, I'm power. I'm kind, I'm caring, I'm considerate, I'm patient, I'm conscious, and I'm strong. I don't need gold to make me strong. I don't need fancy Lani cars. I've had them, been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Fragile people need stuff on the outside to make them look like somebody. Here's my challenge for you. Be somebody on the inside. Build it every day. Ignore the yappers. 95% of people are going to yap against you, tell you you can't, shouldn't, wouldn't, don't. They're the ones that are going to be at 65 and they're going to be eating dog food. Be part of the 3% that wakes up, shakes up, dresses up, and takes action in the world. You have the power. As your coach and success activator, I'm urging you to become response able and to take action starting now. Before this program ends, start to take action now. So in 1993, I started a community radio station called Canny Radio, constant, never-ending improvement. And then we moved on from there to Bop Broadcasting. 3 radio and 2 TV channels. And then we got out of it. I started the radio station so that I could influence and impact people in bunches. The problem that I've seen is most TV's commercially orientated, yap, 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 days of our wives rubbish. I am so excited about gold. I'm beyond excited. Because it is a fountain of knowledge and wisdom and inspiration that you can use to fulfill and replenish and refresh yourself and refocus your dreams. You have a choice. Watch Days of Our Wives rubbish, yep, 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 or come to gold and polish up your potential, unleash your power, and shine in the world. The world needs your shine. The world needs your brightness. And for me, my excitement is gold is the beginning of that. There's a spiritual leader called Neil Donald Walsh. And he says, if you want success, be the source of it. If you want love, be the source of it. If you want happiness, be the source of it. If you want peace, be the source of it. I'm excited that gold is the source of your success, starting and thriving and flourishing. I'm so excited that people have the dream, that they're bringing this, they're putting the time, the effort to make this resource available. There's lots of stuff available, but the really amazing stuff, the gold stuff, this is where you get it. Bring your dreams, bring your friends, bring your hopes, and bring yourself. And fill up with gold, because then you can really, really shine and be as valuable as gold. So self-talk for me matters. And there are philosophies and there are phrases that I use as my guiding alignment and inspiration. Quote number 1, never enter a race to come second. If you're going to enter the race, you do whatever it takes. And that's my second friend, Dwight. Do whatever it takes, obviously within legal boundaries and integrity. And the third one is, there's always a way. There is always a way to make stuff happen. With creativity, innovation, collaboration, plugging into source and getting that guidance, there is always a way. And my last one is, pay it forward. When you do get success, whatever that happens to be in value, pay it forward. Contribute to the growth of others, to a bigger, bolder, brighter future. You might have your own quotes. When we do a team building, we probably put 100 up on the wall. And for me, the one that I love from a point of view of observation is, the fruit of your tree reveals the source of your energy. Your fruit shows you, do you bring love and light and peace and joy, or do you bring twitchy, bitchy, whingy, whiny? You have the power to choose those. Get your mantras, get your thoughts, let them guide you, let them inspire you and motivate you and keep you strong, positive and focused. I have a rule that says I only allow positive inside my head, no matter what happens, no matter how silly. I reversed my bakkie. I bought a bakkie on an auction a long time ago. And the day I bought it, I went and registered. We drove to Mozambique the next day, and I reversed it into a tree, and I bent the whole back. And my head was like chewing me the whole time. You're stupid, you're useless. I have a rule. I only allow positive in here. You wouldn't allow somebody to come into your lounge and throw their garbage and their dirt bin into your lounge. Don't allow people to throw, and you don't throw the garbage into here. Don't believe the rubbish advertising that you get on the outside or that gets made on the inside. Make a rule. I only allow positive inside this space.
Amazing.
I think if I were to distill life's wisdom down to success, is number 1, be committed and active in learning and growing every day. Don't go to bed without learning something new every day. 2 is look to find ways to add value, meaningful value, fair value. 3, have bulletproof integrity. Be trustworthy, and then you can be trusting. But be a role model and example of what integrity and truthfulness and trustworthiness really, really means. And then look after your health. Health matters. Exercise, right food, right sleep. Cut cigarettes, cut drugs, cut alcohol, all of the vices that we know we shouldn't. A healthy car. You don't put ugly oil into your 2 million rand Ferrari or Audi R8. You put fresh, new, clean. Do the same for your body. Honor your body just as much. And choose to be a light bringer. Choose to be able to live in a way that if everything you were doing is on TV and everybody saw you, you'd be happy that what you were doing was for the highest good of yourself, for those around you, and for mankind. I'm blessed that I make changes in people's lives, and I'm not a motivational speaker. Let's just let's just get this right. I am not a motivational speaker. I'm a transformational facilitator who speaks on certain things. I'm an alchemist that turns hate and pain into love and peace and joy. The tools and the technology we bring allow people to truly transform on a long-term basis. And as much as I and we and our team at Life Masters help other people, we've been blessed. And as much as it may not be ideal, the biggest push I got was from my dad, pushing me, saying, you're stupid, you're useless, you'll never be good enough. Because that got me to stand up and say, I'm going to show you. There are many people along the way that have opened doors and believed in us and trusted us and enabled us. There are people, one of the people that stands out for me is a guy, Terry, that I learned the transformational work with, to go beyond just the head stuff, to do the head and the heart stuff. Everywhere we go, there are people, positive, amazing people, that have shone the light or opened the doors or supported us and enabled us to be able to do what we love, because we love what we do. You know that saying, if you do what you love every day, you'll never work a day in your life. And so for me, there are thousands of people that have been positive inspirations and sparks of light that have enabled us to achieve the kind of success. And we're looking for more. So if you're out there, reach out for me. I don't know if this is allowed, but I'm going to say it. If you want a free copy of my Swift Success book, find lifemasters.co.za. Send me an email. Say, I saw you on Gold. I want to unleash my potential. I'll send you a free PDF of my book that we haven't published in South Africa as yet. We need you to step up. We need you to stand out. We need you to be that leader. I need you to collaborate with us so that we together can amplify. Where does it say in the Bible? Wherever two or more are gathered, you will have greater energy and power. We need to stand together as a country. We've got to cross the lines, the political lines, the racial lines, whatever the lines we've got. We need to stand together. We need to unite together. And we need to do whatever it takes to build that brighter, bolder, bigger, better future together for you, for me, and for the children that are coming after us. So, having lived a bit of life, I have lots of amazing experiences, and I want to share a story with you so that you may understand the kind of impact you can have in the world. I had a gardener called Freddie Mosadami in the days when I had my computer company. And Freddie was my gardener. He used to do all the gardening on the weekend. In those days, it was kind of 10, 20 rand a day. I'm talking a long time ago, 40-something years ago. But I slowly but surely taught Freddie how to do computers. And I had like a storeroom at home. And I started to teach him how to assemble computers because he had the right, number one, attitude. And he had the right mental, what I call cognitive complexity capacity. And he showed the interest. And so I started to teach him computer stuff. And eventually he worked his way up from being my gardener to where I took him to my offices in town and he became my storeman. And he then managed all my computer stuff on the shelf. And then we taught him to be a technician where he used to install hard drives and repair machines. And so he constantly was growing and earning more as he grew. And then he became the buyer, and eventually we parted ways. And every few years, Freddie used to come to me and like, hello, Mr. Tony, how are you doing? And we'd upgrade his CV, and he was constantly increasing his value that he was creating in the world and the money that he was earning. And then I didn't see him for a long time. And I had bought a computer from one of the suppliers in Midrand, and there was a problem, and I went back and I was trying to get it repaired. And they wouldn't replace it. They made me wait while a technician looked at the machine to see what the problem was. And I was frustrated and I was twitchy and bitchy and whingy and whiny. But my little birdie said, ask if this technician knows Freddie. And in my head, my self-talk is, there's 50 million black people. How's he going to know Freddie? And I'd never met this technician before, but constantly over the 3 hours, my little inner voice was saying, ask if he knows Freddie. And eventually, I said to him, do you know Freddie? Freddie Mosadame. He said, yes, Freddie's my brother. It's like, what? He said, are you Mr. Dovale? I said, yes. He said, do you know that I got this job because of you? I said, what do you mean? He said, everything that you taught Freddie, Freddie taught me. And I was able to get a job and support and supply my family. And that was hugely emotional for me. And about 7 or 8 years later, there was a ring at my gate. And it was Freddie and Jacob, the mechanic. And it was their youngest brother who had just got a job as a computer technician. He came to say thank you because what I taught Freddie and Freddie had taught Jacob, they had taught to him. And he has now self-sufficient and earning and learning and growing. You see, you never know where these ripples of impact go. You may never see the impact of those ripples. But anyway, put them out. Doesn't matter if people are watching or not. Put out those positive ripples, those positive impacts. Make sure you bring the light. Because just a little bit of light, a tiny piece of light, displaces all the darkness in a room. Love you madly. I hope, I challenge you to wake up, to shake up, and thrive, and to bring your ripples of impact to humanity. So finally, I'd like to share with you, so many people are too scared to take action for fear of failure. The only failure you can have is failure to learn or failure to grow. Failing forwards fast is what is the secret of real success. Of building on the inside and building on the outside and getting a balance of both. I'm sure the guys from Gold, when started this, things weren't easy, there were tough things, there were challenges, but they persevered and look what they have today. So to the guys from Gold, blessings, gratitude, thank you. To all of those people in my life that have given me challenges and made me make choices, blessings and thank you. And to you, who has the power to turn on that 2,000 horsepower Ferrari and bring your love and your light and your peace and your joy and your impact to humanity. I challenge you, I dare you to step into the light and to make it happen. And when you do, send me a message and let's see how we can dance together. Thank you. My name is Tony Dovale from Life Masters. Keep watching Gold. My name is Tony Dovale. You can catch me on Gold this week.
Okay, let's do that again.
My name's Tony Dovale. You can catch me on Gold this week. Go for Gold.